Hi, I'm attorney Colleen with the elder law firm of Zachariah Brown. I'm joined today by attorney Jen Derby. Hi, Jen.
Hi, Colleen.
And we're here to advertise and promote our upcoming webinar, which is coming up next Thursday, January 21st at 11:30. It's called Estate Administration and Probate Concerns Following the Death of a Loved One. Unfortunately, for some reason, it just seems that this is a time of year that we get extremely busy with probate cases or estate administration. People have suffered the death of a loved one recently. Just for some reason, seems that the beginning of the year is always tough for that. And if you have recently experienced a loss, you might not know where to turn. What are your next steps? How quickly do you have to act? What are some of the timelines that you have to meet? And that's really what our webinar is going to be all about. We're going to, give you an overview of the probate process, inheritance taxes, some of the administrative steps that you need to go through, and give you an opportunity to ask questions. So, it's going to be a live presentation. Jen and I will be available to obviously present some information, but also to answer your questions live there on, our webinar. So you can get your questions answered if you've recently experienced a loss and you're just not sure what steps to take next. I think one of the big things, Jen, that people typically want to know about is, what is probate, or what do I have to do? What's a short certificate and how do I get it? So I don't know, maybe you can just explain a little bit briefly about the process and what they could expect.
Sure. So as Colleen was saying, our goal is in our webinar next week is to talk about some frequently asked questions that we get from clients related to estate administration. So I think there's a lot of myths wrapped up in the word probate and what that entails. And so we're going to talk about the probate process. But generally speaking, that is the process by which you are filing the will in the county where the person passed away in order to administer the estate. And so I think a lot of people assume that that's going to be a long, drawn-out court process, and it doesn't necessarily have to be that. It's just that you initially need to get the will filed in that county when someone passes away. And then a follow-up question that we get on that topic frequently is, my loved one passed away this week. How quickly do I need to get to the courthouse to go through this process? We tell people often there's not really a time frame in which you have to get this done. It really just depends on how quickly you need to get access to the money. I think a lot of times bills start coming in. Maybe the family doesn't necessarily have a funeral set up, and so the money needs to come in for that. But we get those questions very often. So we're going to try and address the frequently asked questions that we get. And then just generally speaking too, when someone's named as an executor in another person's estate, what does that mean? What are their responsibilities? What do they do at the beginning of the estate? What do they do to wrap up the estate at the end? So those are some of the things that we'll be addressing in the webinar next week.
And I think that's important too, maybe if you haven't recently experienced a loss, but maybe a family member has asked you to be their executor. Just to have an idea of what are the steps and what are the concerns, what are the things that I will need to do or I should be prepared to do. So, you can take this opportunity to just sort of learn a little bit more about what is going to be expected of you at, the time of your loved one's death. So you'll find a link here in the post, or you can visit our website at pittsburghelderlaw.com. Again, that's Estate Administration and Probate Concerns Following the Death of a Loved One, Thursday, January 21st at 11:30. If you're not able to join us live, we'll be recording the webinar, and it'll be available on our website, again, pittsburghelderlaw.com, under our information hub. That's where we post all of our webinars and videos. So we really hope you will tune in or join us next Thursday to be able to learn more about the probate process and get your questions answered with regard to estate administration.
Thanks. Hope to see you next week.